Hello. Today I've chosen a little bit of a different type of hymn for our meditation. It's actually one that doesn't show up in the Advent section of our hymnal, but it definitely is a hymn that contains some of the important themes of this time of year. It's called, or the first few words of the hymn, which, by the way, our hymns are usually referred to by their first line, but that's not necessarily a quote unquote title of the hymn, but it's the common parlance in how we understand which hymn it is that we're talking about. And so this particular one, which is hymn 527 in our hymnal, is titled Singing Songs of Expectation. And so again, in the season of waiting, expectation is sort of an important theme. Now, this particular hymn was originally written by a Danish author named Bernard Severin Ingman. And I hope I didn't ruin his name. And the words were then translated into English by an Anglican priest and a very prolific author, S. Baring Gould. And it's based on the story of the Exodus, the Jewish people who left slavery in Egypt and were led by Moses out into the desert. When the people were out away from Egypt, they sort of panicked and weren't really sure that they did the right thing, even though they were getting away from a bad situation. The situation they found themselves in at least some ways, felt like it was going to be even worse. And so, as it tells us in the book of Exodus, when Pharaoh let the people go, God did not lead them by way of the land of the Philistines, because it would have gotten them into even more trouble. So God did not lead them by way of the Philistines, though it was near. For God thought, if the people face war, they may change their minds and return to Egypt. So God was very aware of their fear and their concern and the possibility of them going back. So instead, God led the people by a roundabout way of the wilderness toward the Red Sea. It goes on to tell us the Israelites went out of the land of Egypt prepared for battle. But, and this is the most important part for our hymn today, the Lord went in front of them in a pillar of cloud by day to lead them along the way, and a pillar of fire by night to give them light, so that they may travel by day and night. Neither the pillar of cloud by day nor the pillar of fire by night left its place in front of the people. This is one of the very first times, if not the first time, in our recorded history where God appeared to multiple people and in turn literally led them into the promised land. Because they trusted in God, they knew that they were being taken to the place where they needed to go. And I'm sure during that time, there was lots of laughter and support of one another as they joined together to sing songs of expectation. And so let's take a few moments, settle into where we are, and hear the words of our hymn. Singing songs of expectation. Onward goes the pilgrim band, through the night of doubt and sorrow, marching to the promised land. Clear before us, through the darkness, gleams and burns the guiding light. trusting God, we march together, stepping fearless through the night. One, the light of God's own presence, or his ransom people shed, chasing far the gloom and sorrow, brightening all the paths we tread. One, the object of our journey. One, the faith which never tires. One, the earnest looking forward. One, the hope our God inspires. One, the strain the lips of thousands lift as from the heart of one. One, the conflict. One, the peril. One, the march in God begun. One, the gladness of rejoicing on the far eternal shore, where the one Almighty Father reigns in love forevermore. Part of our time that's spent waiting in the Advent season is looking towards what we are expecting. When you consider the coming of our Savior, what are your expectations? What image from this hymn directly impacts you during this season of waiting? And how do you see the parallels between the pillar of fire that was among the people, the newborn baby that was among the people? And finally, how different is it to wait in expectation when you are with others versus waiting in expectation when you're by yourself and alone? So thank you for joining me again today. And I will see you for sure tomorrow. Good luck. Enjoy your Advent season. Take care. God bless.